In the headlines, Akpabio to approach Supreme Court over Court of Appeals judgment as APC senatorial candidate. Nigeria Economic Summit Group sets economic policy agenda for growth and prosperity. Prices of grains crash days after record surge. And away from Nigeria, Britain to withdraw troops from Mali peacekeeping force. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. And now the details. The Abuja division of the Court of Appeal has set aside the judgment of the Federal High Court Abuja and removed Godswill Akpabio as the All Progressives Congress candidate for Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District. Now, a three-member panel of justices led by Justice Alami Senchi on Monday held that Akpabio failed to file a proof of argument within the time provided by the rules. The panel further ruled that Akpabio, being a presidential aspirant of the APC, could not participate in the valid primary of the party held on May 27 and monitored by the Independent National Electoral Commission, which produced Udom Ekpodom as a candidate. A federal high court in Abuja had on September 22 asked INEC to reinstate Senator Akpabio as APC's candidate, being the candidate nominated by the party in the second primary of June 9. The lower court had directed that INEC accept the former Minister of Niger Delta as the APC flag bearer. The decision has now been overturned by the appeal court. The former Senate President, Bukola Saraki, says that the People's Democratic Party, PDP, will resolve the crisis between its presidential candidate and the governor of Rivers State very soon. In an interview with journalists in Ilorin, the former Kwara State governor said that the party is interested in the plight of ordinary Nigerians and as such will not allow the differences between the two leaders disrupt its plans for a better Nigeria.
We will surprise Nigerians because at the end of the day, we all think about what is good for this country. If you look at the poverty that is in the street, we look at how governance has not gone well, we will put Nigerians first because Nigerians want PDP back. And these issues, the little differences, will resolve them. But that does not change at the end of the day, whether it is Wike or anybody, we want a better Nigeria. And a better Nigeria is through PDP. So we're going to work together.
With about 110 days to the 2023 governorship election in Rivers State, tension is gradually building up as hoodlums allegedly attacked some members of the political parties during their campaigns and other activities. One of the recent issues is the alarm raised by the governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, in the state, Senator Magnus Abe, after he was prevented by some hoodlums from gaining access to some communities in the state. The report.
The governorship candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, in Rivers State, Senator Magnus Abe, has raised an alarm over alleged attacks on his party in the state. During a press briefing in Port Harcourt, Senator Abe said his party set out for a meeting in Ayama, Oyigbo local government area of the state, but was resisted by some alleged thugs. Senator Abe explained that the party members moved to another venue after their first confrontation, but the same group of persons blocked the road and insisted that SDP will not be accommodated in the area.
I'm coming here to talk to Igberu people about my plans for Igberu, what we can do to improve your lives here in this community. Other parties will also come to spread their own message. If they have a better message than my own, you follow them and vote for them. If you like my own message, you follow me and vote for me. That's all I'm coming for.
All these people that are sending you people here, their children are not here. Where are their own children? That's the word that you people give to us every time. Yes. Where are their own children? They fight for you people. You don't fight for me. I've never brought anybody to fight for me.
The senator also recalled several other incidents of violence against his team, including alleged threats to the life of a councillor who joined the SDP. He called on youths and people of the state to allow democracy to thrive and human freedom and rights to associate and move around freely in the country.
I will go back to Egberu, I will campaign in Egberu, and I will campaign everywhere in Rivers State constitutionally mandated by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But it is time that Nigerians know what is going on here in Rivers State and the attempts that are being made to forcefully and violently stop other political parties from exercising their democratic rights in this state. It will not be allowed, we will not agree to it, and we will not accept it.
As at the time of filing this report, both accused were yet to respond to the allegations.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities UNILAC chapter is currently holding its one-day protest over the payment of half salaries to its members in the month of October. The lecturers are walking alongside some students from the Julius Berger Auditorium to the main gate, where they will be addressed by the leadership of the union in the institution. The action is organized at the branch levels of ASU nationwide, and each branch of the academic union will choose their dates. The Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG, has drawn the nation's attention to the need to set up an economic policy agenda for accelerated and sustainable economic development for the country. The NESG stated this at the first of its two-day summit themed 2023 and Beyond, Priorities for Shared Prosperity. Chamung Dapeng reports.
An economic policy agenda, stakeholders say, is imperative as the country moves into a leadership transition year. National and global leaders are deliberating on Nigeria's major economic challenges following the COVID-19 pandemic that rocked economies worldwide and plunged Nigeria's struggling economy further down. The country's economic downturn was further exacerbated by external factors like the Russia-Ukraine war and internal factors like excessive oil theft, flooding, insecurity, as well as lack of political will to strictly implement economy-changing policies. Discussions at the 28th NESG Summit, which is a partnership between the private and public sector players, brought to the forefront some of Nigeria's major challenges that have stood in the way of sustainable economic growth with the hope of finding a solution.
Successful national turnaround starts first with addressing basic internal problems and fixing them, and then setting the country's sights on externally driven growth possibilities. We must start by achieving macroeconomic stability, as this is the foundation of economic growth.
One of the arguments against Nigeria's macroeconomic instability is the country's heavy dependence on oil, reducing the prospects of economic diversification. The lack of diversification has shown itself in the volatile nature of the national currency, consistent hike in inflationary pressures, poor inclusion and distribution of wealth, as well as poor external reserves. This leaves many wondering where the nation's economic priorities are and how it is addressing them.
So although challenged by a shortfall in revenues, government kept its pact by prioritizing capital funding in favor of critical ongoing infrastructure projects in power, rails, roads, agriculture, health, and education sectors. This is with a view to strengthening the Nigerian economy post-COVID-19. Resources are also being mobilized with less emphasis on oil revenues.
We must build on the achievements of our fintech companies and our innovators, especially in the areas of agriculture, health, education, logistics, and even manufacturing, housing also, and some of what we're seeing in the development of smart power grids. The last but one priority issue I'd like to mention is improving our social safety programs. This government introduced the most comprehensive and resourced social investment program in perhaps the history of our country. Something this program has helped to do is a bottom-up approach to economic thinking and even budgeting.
As the nation transitions from one administration to another in a couple of months, stakeholders are hopeful that economic priorities would be properly aligned to enable the country make appreciable progress in that direction. Chamun Dabeng, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Bandits numbering about 40 and riding on motorcycles on Sunday attacked Kwatarani village, a hunters community in Batsari local government area of Katsina State. The attackers abducted 10 people, including women and children, and rustled an unspecified number of animals. Similarly, the terrorists disposed the villagers of their monies and other valuables, including clothes, jewelry, and food items. The terrorists, who according to reports have been targeting Kwatarani community over the last 7 years, succeeded in launching an attack on the village when they noticed that majority of the residents went to the market. The Zamfara State Commandant of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Muhammad Bello Mazu, has reiterated the readiness of the Corps to strengthen the existing synergy with the Nigeria Correctional Service in the state to ensure better security in the state. Mazu stated this when he paid a courtesy visit to the management of the Nigeria Correctional Service in Gusau, the Zamfara State capital. A statement by the command's public relations officer, Iko Oche, said that the assistance in the protection of correctional centers in the state is sacrosanct and of paramount interest to the Corps. He urged the Commandant General, Audi Abubakar, to ensure that personnel of the Corps are deployed to the correctional facilities in order to ensure the safety of the inmates and facilities. Responding, the Zamfara State Controller of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Umar Galadima, thanked the Corps for the synergy and reiterated his resolve to work closely with the Corps in order to achieve said objectives. Now, days after Nigerians woke up to an unusual increase in food commodity prices, reports show that the prices have now collapsed across many major markets in the country. The announcement by the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign the major denominations of the country's currency, the Naira, triggered a rush for grains by people with large amounts of cash. The prices of maize, rice, soybeans, millet, and others across the different grains market hit the roof, creating panic in the country. However, reports across states of the Federation have it that prices are now coming down, easing the tension in the value chain industries. In Kano State, the prices of grains in the Wano International Grains Market were reported as going down. Reports say that 100 kg of bag of maize that was sold at 26,000 naira is now selling at 21,000 naira, while 100 kg bag of millet that was sold at 27,000 naira is now sold at 23,000 naira. And the price of 100 kg bag of soybeans that skyrocketed to the 37,000 naira has dropped to 31,000 naira. The need to enhance the role of the judiciary in nation building has again come to the fore at the opening ceremony of this year's All Nigerian Judges Conference for Lower Courts organized by the National Judicial Institute in Abuja. Stakeholders acknowledged the impact of adjudication in the country and the need to ensure that the nation benefits maximally from it. Mardia Umar has more.
It is the 2022 edition of the Conference for All Nigerian Judges in the Lower Court. Participants at this workshop are deliberating on ways of enhancing the role of the judiciary in nation building and how such role will strengthen judicial reforms in a democratic dispensation for nation building. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, represented by Justice John Okon, who declared the conference open, stressed that democracy and nation building is enhanced when there is respect for the rule of law.
It is a well-known fact that judges' decisions impact the society, while sociocultural changes and perceptions do influence judicial decisions. As such, the complex nature of our society makes it imminent that judicial roles catch up with societal changes to make the law more relevant to our democratic dispensation. After all, no nation can rightly be said to run a democracy without the existence of a vibrant and functional judicial system.
Chairman House Committee on Judiciary said the National Assembly is ready to partner the Judicial Institute and the Nigerian judges for better dispensation of justice in Nigeria.
Let me seize this opportunity to commend your worships and honors for sustaining this role of the judiciary, even in the face of daunting challenges confronting your performance of judicial functions. A point has to be made that the starting point of enhancing the role of the judiciary in nation building is by improving the living and working conditions of judges, especially judges of the lower court.
The Nigerian Bar Association, through its president, Yakubu Mikiao, said the NBA is strongly behind nation-building efforts as they work with the judges to ensure a more enhanced justice system.
As the president of the Nigerian Bar, is to continue to remind us of that critical role that we must play in the country. I would always say, and I don't mind repeating it, as those that are privileged to call into the profession of law, we stand in a position of privilege that also comes with responsibility. And the responsibility is to chart the course for this nation. The delivery that we require in this country, the reformation that we need in this country, the reposition and the recovery that we need in this country can only be provided by members of the legal profession.
The theme for the conference is enhancing the role of judiciary in nation building. Martia Umar, Trust TV News, Abuja.
You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we take a look at laboring in quarry sites for a living. Details of this and more after the break. Welcome back to the news update on Trust Television. Here's a reminder of our top stories again. Akpabio to approach Supreme Court over Court of Appeals judgment as APC senatorial candidate. Nigerian Economic Summit Group sets economic policy agenda for growth and prosperity. Now, the demand for eyeglasses has been on the rise in recent years as users identify improved vision, fashion, protection from sunlight and overexposure to computer screens, among others, as reasons for using them. While some users use prescribed glasses, others rarely seek medical advice before getting one. In this report, we take a look at the side effects associated with the use of unprescribed glasses and what can be done to reverse the trend.
Eyeglasses are a viable option for helping to improve vision. Its uses have grown from optical to cosmetic purposes, with people choosing to acquire them according to their various significance, categories of frames, shapes, sizes, and colors.
Because of the sun, whenever I walk in the sun, it won't reflect my eyes. And secondly, there are some places that you like to go, like put on the eyeglass, it's going to be a fashion, so the dressing code and all this, that. There's a place that, okay, I don't want much people to recognize me. Okay, let me just put on these glasses.
Partly for medical reasons, I wear eyeglasses. Well, fortunately, I don't use glasses to read, but when I'm driving, there's need for me to put it on.
Like I use it as sunshade because I can't look directly to the sun. So if it's sunny, I need my glasses. Though it's not recommended, it's just a sunshade.
I'm wearing my own for a passion. It's not for eye problem. Although I have some friends who wear it for eye problem, and it's on prescription.
To prevent the dusty winds from coming into the eyes. Another one, I'm fond of using computers and handsets. It will minimize the effect of radiation on the eyes.
Although these categories of glasses are used by many, experts say the use of prescription glasses without diagnosis and recommendation may pose a serious threat to the eyes.
Does it necessarily irreversibly damage the eyes? Not necessarily, but it's never really comfortable to use a prescription, glasses prescription, without recommendation. When I speak of prescription, of course, I'm not really speaking of what people may call the strength, which we measure in an eye clinic and we recommend for the patient after the eye tests. So long as they don't have a prescription, if they are plain, and most of the fashion glasses are shaded, that is, they take a tint, dark, different colors. You have dark brown, dark blue. It's not bad, actually. It's not bad. If it has a prescription, however, as some of them do, a few of them do anyway, then it's not recommended.
With eyewear trends evolving on a daily basis, experts advise that if one must pick up any eyeglasses, an eye evaluation or vision examination must first be conducted to determine the type of glasses that are ideal for visual conditions and are of benefit to the eyes. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Persistent rise in cost of living is taking its toll on the people doing menial jobs. Quarry workers in Kaduna say that their daily income has gone down due to largely to the increases in price of commodities, making it difficult to cater for the families and pay school fees. Bello Musa reports.
The persistent rise in the price of goods and services occasioned by inflation is taking a huge toll on the people, especially low-income earners. In this quarry side, people working here use extra energy to crush the stone and earn a living. But the present economic situation takes away the hard work, leaving them with little to feed their families. Awal Muhammad and Bella Salisu are quarry workers. They have been in the business for 20 years and they have family, but presently the job hardly takes care of their needs. Cost of living is affecting us. The job took care of our family needs, but now we hardly feed our family. We are just managing and we find it difficult to sustain our life these days. Rising inflation in the economy has been persistent, and this affects the purchasing power of the people doing menial jobs. They earn between 2,000 and 4,000 naira in a day, but with the present rising cost of living, the income cannot take care of their basic needs. The money we get now cannot take care of our basic needs because the cost of goods is higher compared to what we earn daily. What we get in a day hardly sustains us for a day due to cost of foodstuff. For them to crush stone, they need firewood, which Kaduna State government has banned its usage due to insecurity. Saying stone crushing business is now run almost at loss due to cost of firewood. Ban on firewood affect our business because we use firewood to crush the stone. We call on the government to come to our aid. To address the current rising cost of living, Experts believe that government has to increase production, reduce over-reliance on import, increase export, and improve infrastructure in the country, among others. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Away from Nigeria, following similar withdrawals this year by other Western countries, Britain will withdraw its 300 troops from a UN peacekeeping operation in Mali. The early pullout of the troops follows the departure of tens of thousands of troops from Mali by France and its military allies earlier this year, as the country's military junta started working with Russian company Wagner Group affiliated private contractors. Diplomats worry that the Western withdrawals from Mali this year will fuel conflict, destabilize the country's neighbors, and strengthen insurgents. Recent coups in Mali, where there has been an increase in violence by organizations affiliated with Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State in recent years, have damaged international attempts to assist bringing about peace in the country. Eswatini Ministry of Education has postponed school leaving for English and Siswati language exams to December. Many say that the exams were postponed due to pro-democracy protests planned for Tuesday morning. Waves of protest have rocked Eswatini, Africa's last absolute monarchy, since June last year. Protesters continue to demand broad constitutional reforms that will allow them to elect their own leaders. In a press briefing yesterday, Acting Prime Minister Temba Masuku said that the government was not taking lightly threats of mass protest action. And in sports news, World Athletics has confirmed the date of the 9th Okpekpe International 10 kilometers road race. The organizers said that the event will hold on May 27, 2023 in Okpekpe town near Auchi, Edo State. The race, the first road running event to be granted a label status by World Athletics in West Africa, according to World Athletics, will be one of the 40 gold label road running events to hold in 2023. According to the calendar released by the World Athletics, the gold label Okpekpe International 10-kilometer road race will be the only label road race to hold May 27. The first gold label road race in Africa and the continent's first world full marathon major is the Sanlam Cape Town Marathon in South Africa. And that's a wrap on the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for watching.